Hello, hockey fans, and welcome back into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Busy night in the hockey world tonight. We'll get you caught up on the games going around the NHL. A bunch have gone final. We've got some other ones getting ready to wrap up. And we've got a full boat also in the PWHL tonight as well. We'll get you caught up there. The Islanders, they've been busy with trades lately. We'll get you caught up on the latest there as the Islanders trying to make a push to get ready for the playoffs. And the Olympics, they are right around the corner. When we go on the air next week, we'll have already had some Olympic hockey getting played. So we'll get you set up and start to preview the Olympic Games over in Milan. All that, plus more. Freddie's got his power rankings updated. Lots of changes throughout there. So we'll get you caught up on that. All that, plus more, coming up right here, right now on the Neutral Zone. So buckle it in, carry it across ice, pass the puck, and shoot it on net. Let's go. Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. He is Freddie B. I am Adam Karnik. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. Welcome, welcome, welcome on in. Freddie, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, Adam. Like we were saying just before we went on air, how busy of a day we both had, and I had to rush home. Today is my daughter Charlotte's 10th birthday, so I wanted to say happy birthday, Charlotte. Sorry I was home late, but we just sang to her, and they're enjoying their cake, saving hopefully a small slice for me afterward. But yeah, doing great, Adam. How are you doing?
Oh, happy birthday, Charlotte. What kind of cake do we have?
Well, they love Tres Leches cakes. There's a Mexican supermarket that we've gone to for years that make them in different flavors, and that's what she wanted.
All right. Oh, okay. Oh, very nice. I like
really
it.
Good.
I like
really
it.
Good.
Very tasty. Very tasty. Oh, we already got somebody in the chat room.
Hey, all right.
Saying hi. There we go. Hello, Jeff. Welcome in.
Jeff.
Welcome on in. Glad that you are here. Yeah, it's another busy day, another dollar as the saying goes. So,
how's the weather for you? I know we talked, a couple weeks ago how bad it was going to be, but
we're
suffering.
We're in double digits finally.
Oh,
so
geez.
we got that going for us. Yeah, cold. My daughter hasn't had a full week of school since the first week of January.
Really? Yeah. An extended Christmas vacation.
She's missed a week of school this month. So, it's been cold every day. We haven't been above 20 in I'm not sure how long. So, but we're getting through.
Everybody's okay though. That's what matters.
We're good. We're warm. We got all the things, we got all the things we need. It's just, the whole commute to work thing. We've gotten more snow this winter than we have the last 2 winters combined. So we were due for this. We needed it. It's kind of, it's kind of what we've been remembering.
You're accustomed to, yeah.
The last
you have
2,
like a Subaru or something like that. You could get through the
Honda Civic, and you
got him red chains.
So long as I don't try to go off-roading with it. That happened one time this winter. I inadvertently decided I hit a spot of black ice. The next thing I knew, it was, oh, look, I'm now off the road. Well, this is fun.
That's scary.
But other than that, no. Other than that, it treats me well, and I get through. Though I have had some mounds of snow on one of my roads into work, where they've been plowing on the roads, and it's actually now taller than the car, which makes it very interesting, because then when it's blowing off to the side, it's oh, look at that, I'm covered.
Oh,
so
that's crazy.
So yeah, it's very, very interesting. But next week we're supposed to get into the upper 20s. So, it is there is warming coming.
Yeah.
So
well, tune in, man. We got a 1 week of hockey, of NHL hockey left before we get into that Olympic break. So
yes,
hockey action isn't going to end.
No. Despite what the weather does, that's actually, right. The crazy with the weather, the stadium series down in Florida, they were talking about, they might have to do something special to keep the ice cold down there. Not going to have to worry about that now. They're going to be down. They're going to be down possibly in single digits down there in Florida.
Yeah. Can you imagine if there's snow flurries during the outdoor game in Tampa Bay?
How appropriate.
Right. Yeah.
How incredibly appropriate. I think that's all the way it should be.
Yeah, right.
I think that's absolutely how it should be down there. So I'm sure the good people of Florida would completely disagree with that sentiment.
Yeah, weather modification is a wonderful thing, I guess, right?
Yep. So, but welcome in everybody watching live tonight across YouTube and Twitter. You are tuned into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio. You can follow along with us. We are available on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We are also on YouTube, of course, at IESR Neutral Zone. You can also follow along with Freddie. He is at FreddieB_sports on Twitter. I am at Adam_Karnik. And we do want to say thank you to our sponsors as well. Planet Jerky, premium brisket beef jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. You go to planetjerky.net to place your orders. And we also want to say thank you to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com, you can put IESR into the promo code at checkout, and you get 15% off of your order. So thank you to our sponsors there as well. And without any further ado, so let's dive in. We had across the NHL and the PWHL total of 7 games tonight. In the NHL, all 3 have gone final.
Look at the scores.
I know the goalies all took the night off tonight, which I appreciate. We had the Blue Jackets beating the Flyers 5-3. Ottawa took out the Avalanche tonight 5-2 in Ottawa. And not only Senators win, look at the shot total there for the Avalanche. The Avalanche held to just on goal. 18 shots on goal for the game too. So impressive job by Ottawa, and 18 shots, 10 of those for Colorado came in the final period. So just 8 shots across the first 2 periods for Colorado.
If Dallas or Minnesota can get hot, now's the time to catch Colorado, because they've slipped up a few times over the past couple of weeks. So, it's still, 8 to 10 point advantage in the division. But if Minnesota or Dallas can start winning games in Colorado, it could make things a lot more interesting atop the Central.
It could. Ottawa in that game, 0 penalties. You want to beat Colorado, you've got to stay out of the penalty box. Colorado, 3 penalties. Ottawa didn't convert on any of them, though. The penalty kill unit for Colorado killed all 3 of them off, but I wonder how much having those 3 penalties affected their ability to get into the zone and get things going offensively. That's not an outrageous number of penalties. 2 of them in the first period, though, and then the third one in the second period. I don't think that's a huge shock then to see that Colorado, the bulk of its shots came in the third period where the Avalanche had no penalties. So
that's crazy.
But well done there by Ottawa to get that win. So good job by Ottawa. And then the other game in the NHL tonight, the battle for New York. We'll be talking about the Islanders a little bit later on. They defeat the Rangers 5-2, out shooting them a whopping 36-16. Shot advantage for the Islanders in that game.
Andre Palat, the gentleman who we're going to be talking about in the trade with New Jersey, paying dividends game one. Scoring a goal here tonight. So that's huge for the Islanders. He hasn't done terribly well so far this season with only 4 goals and 6 assists coming into tonight. Palat's an average 48 point a game player in his career. He had some really great years in Tampa Bay. The numbers just weren't there this year. He's going to help the Islanders a ton. Watch me, Adam, on this.
I like it. And his Islander debut, a goal and an assist, gets the first goal of the night, converting on the power play. Already 2 points in his Islander debut. You got to like that there in New York. You got to like what you're seeing there. And then over in the PWHL, they're doing a little special. This is their final night before they officially send off all their players to Italy for the Olympics. So they have all 8 teams in action tonight. So 4 games in the PWHL. We've got finals in 3 of them. The Fleet beating the Sirens in a shootout. Ooh. The Fleet allowed multiple goals in the game. Final score, Boston 4, New York 3. And then in Montreal, the Victory 3-0 over the Toronto Scepters, the battle for Canada there. And then in Ottawa, the Charge doubling up the Torrent 4-2. And going on live right now in Minnesota, the Frost all over the Vancouver Golden Eyes 3-0 with 10 minutes with halfway through the game.
Hey, I want to give props to, I was driving home from work and I was listening to NHL Network, and it was the Senators Avalanche game on radio. It was the Ottawa broadcast, and they went to intermission and they were going through the out of town scores. And they did pay mention to the PWHL as well in their scores. So I don't know if other, NHL teams, if they, cover. But I thought that was a really cool thing that they did, go over all of the women's scores as well, because, Ottawa obviously having a team. But I think that was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very nice to do that, especially in Ottawa, where you've got obviously the Senators, but you've also got the Charge in there. It makes all the sense in the world to do that. Absolutely. So good on Ottawa for doing that, including the Charge in their out of town scoreboard, if you will. Good on them for that. So those are the 7 games in action tonight. 6 of them have gone final, but we've got the one PWHL game that we'll see how that goes as we go. But Minnesota off to a strong start in that one. All right. Do you want to first go into news and notes, or do you want to dive right into your power rankings? Where would you like to start?
Let's dive right into the power rankings. A lot of the news and notes do have to do with a lot of the teams in the top 10 this week. And then we also have a couple other things we could talk about before we switch gears. Yeah.
Excellent. So we'll dive in there. So as we get this set up and prepped for you, for those of you who are new to the show, every week Freddie puts together his top 10 teams across the NHL. Some weeks, like last week, there was very little change. It was pretty similar across the board. Tonight we've got quite a bit of change, especially in the bottom 7. Lots of change.
Lot of change. Bottom. And one of the teams in action tonight could have easily been up there. They just weren't playing as hot as some of these other teams ahead of them. But yeah, let's do this, Adam.
So we'll dive in here. Sorry.
Yeah, let me know. I just put these together at random. There's no method to this at all. I'm not putting, numbers into the computer and crunching. This is just personal how I feel these teams are ranked throughout the season. So if you disagree or agree, let us know. Let us know who you think is deserving of being in the power rankings.
Yeah, drop us a line in the comments there. You let us know what you think of these, but they are Freddie's top 10 rankings. Sorry, I needed to double check and get in there. So, without any further ado, coming in at number 10, making their, I believe this is their debut in the power rankings this season.
Yeah.
The Utah Mammoth coming in at number 10.
Utah is rolling right now in the Western Conference. They're currently the first wild card team with 60 points, and only 9 points behind Dallas now for third in the Central. Utah is playing fantastic. Picked up a huge win the other night after they lost to Tampa Bay, but then beat Florida the other night. And Kirill Vejmelka is having a fantastic season right now, leading the NHL in wins. They're 10-2-1 in the month of January. So that's where they've turned it around. Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota played, we're winning only 4 out of about 10 games for a good stretch. So Utah did make up some ground that way. Yeah, and the youth movement there is playing well. They started the season hot, then they dipped a little bit, and now they're back. And I think this could be the Utah team to watch out for to play the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. They went very cold there for a long stretch, but January they have come back to life. This could be a team though where the Olympic break is coming at the wrong time. It'll be interesting to see how they do when they come back.
They do have quite a few guys that are going to play in Italy as well. So yeah, we'll see, and maybe they could put some pressure on the teams ahead of them in the Central. They're 3 points ahead in the wild card, so they're starting to build a little gap there. I really like what Utah can do for sure.
Absolutely. Then coming in at number 9, we're going to jump over to the East. We've got the Pittsburgh Penguins coming in. It's been a little while since we've seen them in the top 10. Very up and down, hot and cold, but they're back up here now at number 9.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic right now. They are super hot and riding the back of Stuart Skinner for the most part. I mean, his last 8 games, he's 7-1-0 with a 1.63 goals against and a 934 save percentage. This is Stuart Skinner we're talking about, right? And
yes,
that with what Sid and Malkin and the leadership in Pittsburgh is doing, they're continuing to surprise everybody. And they are also in a playoff spot right now in the Eastern Conference. They've moved up to second in the Metro, just behind Carolina now. 6 points behind Carolina with a game in hand. We're talking Pittsburgh, baby, winning the division.
No,
can you believe that? I don't know.
We've got a lot of hockey left to go. The Metro has been a crazy division this season, bar none. Still, if Pittsburgh winds up on top, that was shocking to my core.
Yeah, I nobody even expected them to be a playoff team at that.
Exactly. So to come in and do that would be to win the division. That would be quite the surprise. All right, coming in at number 8. This is a team that fell a little bit this past week. The Montreal Canadiens, they're staying in the top 10, but they fell down a little bit in your eyes.
Yeah, I think the goaltending is kind of letting them down right now. We just said, Montembeault is maybe turning the page, but Jakub Dobeš really hasn't picked up the slack in the backup duties. So they're going to be suffering. I heard somebody this morning say, maybe a pickup Montreal can do come trade deadline would be like, what if they picked up Jonathan Quick as a backup or who they can rely upon? The Rangers are out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe, wow, that's a possibility. I don't know if you want to go up there, but yeah, Montreal's hurting. They have a very good team. Cole Caulfield leading the way. And, Lane Hudson, those guys are doing a great job. They're still sticking with it right now. 65 points. They're in the wild card, though, although they have more points than the Penguins and the Islanders that are in their other division in the Metro. They're in the Atlantic, unfortunately. Yeah. But, logjam. They're playing great hockey still. But, You got to think Florida and Toronto are going to, or is Florida, I think Florida, maybe Toronto, they've got some teams that are going to try to catch up to them. So Montreal still has to play that good hockey.
They do. They can't continue sliding. That's for sure. Speaking of
No.
sliding, coming in at number 7, January has been cruel to the Dallas Stars at this point. They looked like one of the best teams in all of the NHL for the first 2.5 months of the season. The calendar has flipped over to 2026, and the Stars have just the light's gone out. That I hate to make puns or things like that on it, but really that's what it seems like.
I can't really put my finger onto what it is that Dallas isn't doing. Yeah, they started the month of January horrible. They've won their last 2 games. They both were against the St. Louis Blues. So they have picked up some points, and they do have a tough end of this month as well, with games on the road in Vegas and then in Utah. So, man, Dallas, what are we going to see out of them? Are they going to, continue to slide? Minnesota's already passed them up in the rankings and in the standings. Dallas needs to do something. They have a lot of guys as well going to the Olympic break. I think this is what they need to, regroup and, figure out, what we got to play Dallas Stars hockey again.
Yeah, I think for as much as Utah might be, the Olympic break might be coming at the worst time for Utah. I think it's coming at the best time for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
The losing streak can kind of stop just naturally with the break, and then you can regroup, reset, and come back out for the last 2 months of hockey and get back to being the Dallas Stars.
And Jason Robertson, is a 30-30 guy already this year, 30 goals, 30 assists. So good on Jason Robertson. I mean, and he's got to be on that Olympic team. That's still, probably the worst mistake that they have made at this point. But we'll get into that when we talk the Olympics. But Jason Robertson really holding the fort down.
Yes, indeed. Some good individual efforts, but overall, the sum of it is it's really not working all of a sudden in Dallas. Then over in Detroit, the Red Wings coming in at number 6. Again, a little bit of a minor slide for them this week. Patrick Kane does tie for the most points of an American skater all time, but the Red Wings overall, where are we thinking on them?
I got to watch the game last night. They played the Kings, so I spent watched all 60 minutes of that game, and I have followed Detroit a lot this season. There's a lot of players I like. I've preached about Mo Seider all year, and Detroit is a really good team. Kings came away with a 3-1 win. Kings are starting to play some good hockey, but Detroit's fine. And Patrick Kane picked up an assist on the lone goal for the Red Wings last night, tying him with Mike Modano at 1374. All-time on the U.S.-born points list. So, Mr. USA right there.
I still love to see that. Nobody's going to be happier than me when Kane gets that next point. I just wish it would be in the Hawks sweater, but
I know. Well, it's going to be coming here probably this weekend. And they're only a point behind Tampa Bay. They do have more games played than Tampa, but Detroit's still right there. Really good team. It was fun to watch them last night. That was a really entertaining hockey game. They're solid on all fronts.
They are not anybody you want to sleep on or ignore as the season goes on. All right, coming in at number 5, the Buffalo Sabres. They have been hot lately. They have been red hot. And what was the stat you pulled up? Was it scoring the first goal, or was it leading after 2?
This year when leading after 2 periods, Buffalo is 23-1. 23-1. That's
wow.
We're talking Buffalo Sabres, 23-1. This is a team that used to blow leads like crazy. And Buffalo, and I think they're deserving where I put them at number 5. They're sitting 3rd in the Atlantic. However, they are the hottest team in the National Hockey League, especially with Colorado losing tonight. Over the last 20-25 games, the Buffalo Sabres are the best team in the NHL. And it just continues. They're only 4 points behind Detroit. They have 2 games in hand, and they're 6 points have a 6-point cushion over the wild card team, or the team that's out of the playoffs. So they're solidly in there right now. And Tage Thompson is doing fantastic. I like what I see. These Sabres, man, they are tough to play against.
They are a tough out every single night.
They went into Toronto last night and stuck a dagger in them, beating them 7-1 in Toronto. So,
woo, that's a statement right there. That is definitely a statement win.
Huge statement road win.
Yep. You like seeing that if you're a Buffalo fan, and if you're not a Buffalo fan, you're coming out of that and you're kind of wondering, where is this coming from? Are the Sabres finally going to be legit contenders when we get to the postseason?
Yeah, and they are. Rasmus Dahlin with a hat trick last night. For a defenseman, we've seen a lot of hat tricks lately, but Rasmus Dahlin, that guy is a top 6 defenseman in the league, and nobody talks about it as well.
All right, coming in at number 4, the Minnesota Wild, an incredible come from behind win last night at the hands of my Blackhawks. Blackhawks led in this one 3-0 in the second period, only to see Minnesota come back and win it 4-3 in a shootout.
Yeah, that was, man, and that bumped Minnesota in the Central Division ahead of Dallas now with 70 points. That's a huge win for Minnesota. They're 5-3-2 over their last 10. They could have easily let that game go away, but they come away with, instead of 0 points, picking up 2 points. That's huge.
Just getting it to overtime is impressive, and then to turn around and win it in the shootout. Oh yeah, that's a remarkable. That's one of those that is going to benefit you so much when you get to the playoffs, when you get to late April, May, June hockey, where it's, oh man, it looks like this one's getting away from us. This is a game where you can point to and say, remember, we were down 3-0 in that one. We can come back.
Yeah, that could be great for Minnesota. They can feed upon that comeback win. At the same time, though, that's a huge loss for the Blackhawks, who are still fighting. They were only 6 points out, from the wild card right now. So they only were able to gain the 1 point. So that's got to be a little deflating. The Hawks are still there, still in the picture.
They're still in the picture, but that is incredibly deflating. We see Mikey Two Guns. He's excited because the Bruins have been getting hot again. They're doing better.
I almost had them in there, but I was like, who do I bump out? Because those other teams are playing just as hot, or they're, just slightly better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we get to the so we had lots of changes in the bottom 7 of the power rankings. Now we get to the part where it basically has stayed the same from the past several weeks. Number 3, the Carolina Hurricanes. There's not a reason to bump them out.
There's not, winning, and they really can't go any higher.
No, you can't justify putting them ahead, and you certainly can't justify dropping them.
But they are definitely riding the bus, and what I mean by that is Brandon Bussey is 19-3 this season. That's somebody you asked somebody at the beginning of the season who the heck Brandon Bussey was, and they wouldn't know who he was. Didn't know he was an NHL goaltender. But he is doing fantastic in his time this season.
And especially with as streaky as Freddie Anderson can be, that is massive to have somebody
a 1A or a 1B to Anderson being the 1A, or you can look at it the other way.
Mm-hmm. And Anderson's still going to be the guy that gets called upon when the lights are the brightest. He's earned that, but it's so great that they have somebody that, hey, if Freddie does trip on his own skates or forget which end of his blocker he's supposed to hold, as he has been prone to do at times in critical moments, it's good that Bussey is somebody that they can turn to and know that he can at least hold down the fort for them for a little while. It'll be interesting to see what happens come postseason. Teams have over the last few years teams have been more willing to go to their backup goaltender in the playoffs.
You got to almost, ride whoever's hottest at the time. And, we could see Brandon Bussey being a starting goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll see.
We'll see. Then coming in at number 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They just keep winning. They just keep figuring out a way to keep putting on those points. They did it against the Blackhawks last week. They've done it against everybody else, seemingly. Figure out a way to get 2 points.
They may be just as hot, if not the same temperature as the Sabres. I would see as far as their white hotness right now. Man, Tampa Bay's doing fantastic. I mean, Vasilevsky picking up his second shutout of the season. I think it was his 22nd win the other night over Utah. That was a big game, because Utah was playing really hot, and they shut Utah out 2-0. Nikita Kucherov has reached the 80-point plateau, and can't wait to see what he can do. I think he'd probably get, close to 136 to 140.
Yep. Just continuing to keep it rolling. And then speaking of keeping it rolling, they lost tonight.
They did lose tonight.
All the bad things, but they're still number 1, and they still deserve to be number 1. The Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah. Colorado is still playing great. They still have that cushion lead over Minnesota and Dallas. But I think this Olympic break is going to come perfect timing for them. They've got quite a few guys going to play as well. And, a lot of teams are going to use this as a, come to Jesus kind of a regroup and rejuvenate your team, because there's going to be, 20, 25 games being played, 30 games being played in a short amount of time at the end of the season. It's going to be a strong schedule for these guys.
I think for Colorado, it's less of a come to Jesus type of a setting, as it's more of an opportunity for them to have a breather, to exhale.
Not necessarily Colorado, but just in general. Some of these teams could. Yeah. This is perfect time. Hey, we got get our heads out of our butts. For Colorado, they need this, and every team has their ups and downs. They're just kind of going with it right now. They've had a couple small bumps, but nothing huge.
They've had some small, and let's face it, they've been catching everybody's best game for a month and a half at least. They've become the team that gets circled when it's you're looking at your upcoming game for a week or 1 or 2 or however many weeks out. It's there's Colorado, circle that one. We're going to do everything we can to make sure not only are we playing the number 1 goalie, we're making sure that we're as healthy as we can be. Who needs to maybe be a healthy scratch the night, the game before, so that we can make sure we've got everybody in there to put our best lineup forward.
Yeah. And the big thing too for Colorado is they've got a lot of high-profile players that are going to be playing in the Olympics. So they've got to come out of that healthy. You can't imagine losing a Cale Makar or Nathan McKinnon to an injury because they were playing, an Olympic game. They took a hit wrong or something like that. I mean, Marty Necas in tonight's game, he went off the ice gingerly as well. I don't know the full extent of his injury, but you can't lose Marty Necas right now.
No. Let's see if we can get a quick little... Let's see if I can get an update on that real quick.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and they said, "Oh yeah, he went off kind of gingerly there." I don't know if I can find it or not.
Let's see if we can get anything on the recap from the official recap real fast here as I'm looking it up here. That's all the important scoring stuff, which is always important. But no, we don't have anything official yet from the club on any kind of a timeline or anything like that. But that will be coming. That will be coming for sure.
Yeah. So that's the power rankings this week. Yeah, there was a couple teams deserving: the Islanders, the Bruins. But that's who I went with this week. We'll see what happens. We got one more week to go. We'll power rankings and
before we move into the Olympics. We'll have one more week there of it. Since they didn't make it into the power rankings, but you mentioned them a little bit, let's talk about the New York Islanders, shall we?
Yeah,
they have been busy with some trades. We talked about it in the scores today. Andre Palat, gets his first 2 points as an Islander.
Yeah.
But the Islanders, a couple of trades, one with the Rangers, and then of course the other with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, I think both good moves for hold on a second here. Where am I at? I lost no, both good moves right now for the Islanders. And we saw what Palat did already tonight, and the Islanders are really good team. They're just behind Pittsburgh in the standings. Ilya Soroka just picked up his 6th shutout of the season, and we talked about him last week, how he might be up there for Vezina as far as a Vezina finalist, him and then Andre Vasilevsky. But yeah, they did pick up Soucy from the Rangers as well, so that's huge. I think from there, Carson Soucy, you know what you're going to get out of him. Hard-nosed player, likes to get in the dirty areas, and is physical. So that's huge. They're adding some beef to that lineup. They did lose Maxim Siplikov going the other way to New Jersey in that trade. But Andre Palat, you're getting the veteran leadership with him. He's got Stanley Cup experience. Great move for the Islanders.
And for the Devils getting Sipsnikov back, is that enough? They also got a couple of late round picks. Is that enough of a return? Did they sell low on Palat? What did you think of it from New Jersey's perspective on that?
Palat, you're dealing more with his contract. I think if you could get a 3rd and a 6th like they did with Siplikov, I think that was a fair return. Andre Palat, only 4 goals and 6 assists coming into tonight. So he wasn't really producing that much offensively in over, 51 games played. Yeah, I think that's fair. So I that kind of sets the table too. Like, will we see more middle of the road, deals like this instead of some big ones? But there's a lot of guys around the league that are in talks right now. We'll see what happens. It's going to start picking up.
Yeah. But you like it from the Islanders' perspective because
I do.
They're recognizing they're in their window, and it's, hey, let's see what we can do to beef this team, bump this team, anything we can do to keep it moving.
Yeah, you add that veteran. You've got a great defensive core with a great leader in Schaefer. You're getting the goaltending, number 1 goalie. Could be in the league. Everything's going right. I don't know what else they could be. Maybe another defenseman. They may not be done yet, so we'll see what the Islanders can continue to do.
But I like it too, and it's when you're making a move still relatively early in the trade. The trade deadline isn't until March. You're not paying as much of a premium at this point.
It's like the soft deadline right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of, then other teams can feel out like, okay, maybe this was the first domino. We might start seeing some coming really soon. We're hearing Panarin trades daily where he may go. Evander Kane in Vancouver, another sought after guy. So there's I think that might be the first chip to fall. We've seen over the last, week to 10 days, there's been about a dozen trades, small ones, but big ones in terms of the player fitting that team's needs. So.
Yeah, I think, if I'm the Rangers, I trade Panarin, but I don't trade him till after the Olympics are done. You want that return to be as big as you can. You want that to be an auction. You want that. You want teams bidding against each other, left, right, center. You want to just get the biggest return you can. If I'm the Rangers, I don't trade Panarin until March.
Yeah. It's probably going to have to be like that. And they're going to see who can make the best package back to them. I know, even the Kings were mentioned in talks with Panarin over this last week. I think the Red Wings, that was my team of choice that I thought he would fit well with. But yeah, there's a good half dozen teams at least that he can make a huge impact. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe they're going to pack it, the Rangers said nobody's really safe other than Shesterkin. So everybody is up for trade.
Everything's available. Now watch, somehow Vegas will get involved and get Panarin somehow, and we'll just go, oh, God, that forward
say
groups.
that.
Then
Don't
I
say
know,
that.
I know,
That's disgusting,
I know.
Adam.
That did well. I could come up with more disgusting, but
Yeah.
that was the first one that came to mind.
Another team, real quick. I know we're
Yeah.
up against it. The Ducks were really close to cracking that top 10 again. They were on a 7-game winning streak and beat Colorado in Colorado. They did lose the other night pretty convincingly to Edmonton, a team that they were fighting for second right now in the Pacific Division. But the Ducks were playing great. Beckett Seneca having a hat trick as well this week. He's making a good run right now in the rookie points competition. So we'll have updates on the rookies on next week's show.
Yeah, no shame in the Ducks losing to the Edmonton Oilers.
No,
that's a respectable loss, even if you're getting blown out after a good.
They were close to making it too. They had a 9-game losing streak, and then they go hot and win 7 straight. So they were really close to making it. I want to see if they can. If this will be a hiccup for them, or they can turn it around.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take for ourselves a quick break, and then when we come back, the Olympics are right around the corner. I can hear the timpani playing right now in my ear. I've got the John Williams theme going. We're all set, getting ready to send the players over to Italy, whether the rinks are ready or not. We'll see how that is, but we'll start talking a little bit of Olympics on the other side of a break. This is the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go. For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iSportsRadio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am Adam. He is Freddie. Together, we are the Neutral Zone. We do this crazy thing every Wednesday night. So glad that you can join us. We are less than a week away from Olympic hockey. The official opening ceremonies for the Milan Olympic Games are they next week Wednesday or the next week Thursday? And
Thursday.
Thursday.
I believe it's Thursday.
But we will have Olympic hockey before that. The women's tournament actually opens up next Tuesday.
Right.
So by the time we do our next show, we will have had Olympic hockey already underway, which is fun, which is going to be exciting. A lot of good things to go through.
Yeah.
So
good luck. Yeah. I'm sorry. Good luck to all those ladies that are, leaving the PWHL to go play over there. And, yeah, I
represent.
Can't wait to see. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what we want. That's what we want to see. Absolutely. So we thought we'd have some fun tonight and do a little bit of an Olympic preview. Now we're not going full bore full out yet. Like, for example, we're going to be saving the US and Canada's discussions for next week. We know that those are on both the men's and women's. Those are going to be the two countries that are really going to be the ones everybody's expecting and to come away with gold, really going to be fighting for the gold, especially on the men's side. I've got the odds in front of me from Odds Shark right now. Looking at them. It's ridiculous how big of a spread there is. Now, I always say that take the gambling stuff all with a grain of salt. Personally, I don't partake, so I can only go so far and explain why the numbers are what they are. All right. Well then you can kind of help explain, put some of the gaps in some of the numbers here. But I understand enough that when there's a jump of 3 magnitude from between the USA and the next closest team, that obviously the odds are that it's going to be that everybody's expecting on the men's side, it's going to be between Canada and the USA. Looking at it, the odds right now for Team Canada are plus 120. For the USA, it's plus 210. Sweden is the next closest at plus 600. Everybody else
money right there.
Everybody else after that is plus 1,100 or higher on the men's side, which tells me don't waste your money.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Canada's a strong favorite. We expect, and everybody expects them to be, coming away with gold. And that Sweden price is pretty juicy as well, plus 600. You drop $50 on that, you just won 300. So no, that's not too bad. That's probably one of the surprise teams. I think, is that who you were liking as well? Was Sweden? Did you say that, or it was somebody I was talking to? Yeah.
Of the teams outside of Canada and the US, they're probably the favorite to get the bronze, would be my opinion. Finland would be another one, because Sweden, remember at the Four Nations tournament, Sweden had a very good showing at Four Nations a year ago in that amazing, awesome tournament. And essentially this roster that Sweden is put together here for the Olympic tournament is essentially going to be the same. As we'll go ahead and we'll start with Sweden here. You've got their roster. You've got Jesper Bratt, Leo Carlsson, Joel Eriksson Ek, Philip Forsberg, Pontus Holmberg, Adrian Kempe, Gabriel Landeskog, Elias Lindholm, William Nylander, Elias Peterson, Ricard Raquel, Lucas Raymond, Alexander Wenberg, Micah Zibanejad as the forward unit, Rasmus Anderson, Philip Brosberg, Jonas Brodin, Rasmus Dahlin, who you were talking about earlier tonight, Oliver Ekman Larsson, Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, Eric Carlson. Those are your defensive men. And then in net, Philip Gustafsson, Jacob Markstrom, and Jesper Wallstedt are your three goalies. It's a strong roster that they've got there in Sweden.
Yeah, it is strong
roster.
I think they're a little bit older on the defensive side. Oliver Ekman Larsson, obviously a little bit older. Victor Hedman, older. Is he going to be healthy to play? But you do have a really good group of forwards that are electric. You know, when you get, Jesper Bratt and Philip Forsberg out there, Adrian Kempe out there, you've got some guys, William Nylander, Ricard Raquel, guys that know how to light the lamp. They could be a really entertaining squad. And I think they're probably the strongest outside of the Canadians and the U.S. But I really, if I'm a betting man, which I am, I would sprinkle a little bit on Team Sweden.
Yep. Now, Team Sweden, the Swedes have not medaled in the Olympics since 2014. The Sochi Games were the last time that Sweden got a medal in this tournament.
Yeah.
So it's been 12 years. The last couple of years, they've been held off the podium altogether. So we'll see. Will this be a year that Sweden can get back on the medal podium somewhere? Definitely. The Swedes lost to Canada in 2014 in the gold medal game. Swedes got the silver, but certainly looking good there. On the other side, starting a little bit at the bottom, you've got the host nation Italy. I wouldn't expect to see much from them in this at all. France, Denmark, Latvia, you're not going to see a whole lot from those. I am curious to see how Germany does in this tournament. It was 2018. Germany appeared in the gold medal game, losing to the Russians in that, but getting a silver medal, getting through Canada to get to that silver medal in it. And Germany played well in Four Nations a year ago. So that's another team I'm curious to see how Germany does in this tournament. That would be another team to me. I would not be surprised to see.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this as well, because looking up and down the roster, they have some notable NHLers on there. Obviously, Leon Draisaitl. It leads the group of players, but you've got other guys that have played a lot of international competition. And I think that is where that can help Germany. They did not do very well. They were horrible in the World Juniors. So their youth right now, those guys had a horrible showing. I believe that this Germany team, I don't think they're going to medal, but, Philip Grubauer is a great goalie. I don't know much about Franz Reb or Niederberger, but I don't know how, what questionable they are at goaltending, but they do have some nice NHLers. I'd maybe like the 5th, 6th game, possibly.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. I would not be surprised to see Germany playing for the bronze medal. I wouldn't necessarily expect it. I wouldn't predict it.
All right.
But
Adam,
should they get in there? I wouldn't go, oh wow, what's Germany doing in this game? That it wouldn't surprise me. I'll put it that way.
I mean, they do have like a couple of guys that are NHL players right now. But can you imagine, I mean, Leon Draisaitl, he gets to run this team. He plays second fiddle to McDavid in Edmonton, but he is the number one guy on this team. He's going to be playing close to probably like 30 minutes a game, I would have to guess.
Mm-hmm. And they grab a favorable group too. As we're looking at that, they're in Group C. Yes, they're in the same group as the United States, but they've also got Latvia and Denmark. So they should be able to come out of group play in a relatively strong position.
Yeah, I think so. But don't sleep on either of those teams too. Latvia is probably one of the most fun teams and nations to watch when it comes to international hockey. They have some great fans, and they can throw a thorn in somebody's side for sure.
Yep. The other one for me to keep an eye on, outside, of course, of the U.S. and Canada in the men's tournament, would be Finland. The reigning gold medal champions from the Beijing Games back in 2022. They're dealing with injuries. You know, they were expecting and hoping to have Alexander Barkov, just like the Florida Panthers are hoping to have Alexander Barkov. They don't have him, so you've got to deal with that. But they're the reigning defending Olympic champions here. You've got guys like Sebastian Aho and Michael Granlund in the forward group. Rupe Hintz, in there. Teuvo Teravainen from the Blackhawks. They've got really good forwards with experience, some guys that can do it. Defensively, Miro Heiskanen, Henry Yokoharu. You've got some guys there. I think the depth there could be something that you have to contend with there with Finland. Yeah. In definitely. Net, Kevin Lankinen, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and Juuse Saros.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to just, I'm just going to burn through this and we'll see where my tongue stops. And that's where we'll go. Yeah. These are the same guys from Four Nations a year ago. Will it be enough?
No. In my opinion, probably not, but they could be playing for the bronze medal, I think, but not that. I don't think Finland is gold medal worthy. As far as the lineup, they're solid up to down. They've got scorers, they've got depth on the forward, they've got grinders, and good goaltending. But no, I think they're probably fourth. Probably the fourth best in my ranking. I don't know what are the odds on them? Are they fourth right now, or is it Team Czechia?
Let's see. As I'm going back over to the odds, Finland does come in at number 4. Okay. Ahead, behind Sweden by a significant chunk, and ahead of Czechia by a significant chunk.
That's probably a safe spot where they're at, I think. But anything could happen in these games, and it's been so long since we've seen NHLers playing in the Olympics that I think there is going to be a nation that stubs their toe and is going to be a big shock. I just don't know which team it's going to be.
Yeah, that is gonna make it fun having the NHLers back in there, as we saw from Four Nations a year ago. When you get the NHLers putting on the sweaters and the colors of their countries, it means so much more to them. USA, Canada from Four Nations. Need we say more? Oh my goodness.
And right now,
passion that we saw in those games
with the NHL, in its youth movement right now, there's a lot of guys representing their country. So you get to see these guys that you may have heard of, but you've never got to see play because you might live on the East Coast and they play for the Sharks or something like that. But Slovakia is going to probably be the most exciting team for me to watch. They have a lot of youth. I can't wait to see how those guys can do. I don't think they're going to do great, but maybe like 6-7. I don't know. But I like Slovakia. Watch out for them. They could upset a team or two.
I like it. And the three groups in men's, and this is sticking with the men, the three groups. Group A, you've got Canada, Switzerland, Czechia, and France.
Mhm.
Group B will be Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, and Italy. To me, that's the most interesting of the three groups to see how all that plays out and where everybody lines up from there eventually. And then in Group C, you have the United States, Germany, Latvia, and Denmark. To me, that's the U.S. and Germany come out of that, and Latvia and Denmark are going to be significantly below the other two. It should be the U.S., Germany behind them, and then the other two battling it out for the bottom.
I would think so. But yeah, the Olympics are so great. I've told you the story, Adam, and I think I've shared it before, how in Sydney, you're going to be 16 years old. In the 2020 Olympics, my daughter's, we named her Sydney because my wife and I both were huge Sidney Crosby fans, and she liked the name Sydney as well, but I'm the huge Crosby fan. Named her Sydney. She's born March 9th. Her birthday shower was her baby shower was the day of the gold medal game between the U.S. and Canada. And I got in trouble. I had to rush from the park to watch the end of that game, and it was so fitting that Sidney Crosby was the one who scored that golden goal in overtime. But man, I crave hockey and the international hockey, and then it'll be on at crazy times too. So you just leave the TV on the channel, and you're probably gonna find something good. The Winter Olympics are the best.
Yep, you'll definitely get it. Yeah, the men drop the puck on Wednesday, February the 11th. It'll be at 4:40 Eastern time.
Yeah,
is when they play the first game. So 1:40 out on the Pacific coast in Italy. I have no idea what time that would be locally. I'd have to look that up. Well, let's see. What time is it? Let's see. Right now, so Italy is 6 hours ahead of Eastern time. So that is late at night. Then, if I'm reading that correctly, if they're dropping the puck at 4:40 in the afternoon, Eastern time, that would mean that they're dropping the puck at 10:40 at night. I better double check that I am saying that time correctly. Maybe that's 4:40 local time. Let's see.
I don't know. I just hope they're in a time where I could watch them.
I'm going to double check that right now. Yes, that is, well, let's see. Let me see. And this is looking at buying tickets. So you'd think that they would let me know what time they have it there. But what I don't know is that my time or local time. I'm going to go with that time has to be local time. So if that's 1640 local time, so that would mean 10:40 in the morning Eastern time. That makes more sense. That it would be 10:40 in the morning. That makes more sense. That'd be 10:40 in the morning our time, rather than they'd be playing that crazy late.
Yeah, I'll have it on my phone.
Nothing wrong with. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Keep up with it throughout the day. Just have the apps going. So the men drop the puck. The men drop the puck on February the 11th. The women, on the other hand, they drop the puck next Thursday. Is when the women drop the puck. Thursday, February 5th is when they start, and then the opening ceremonies are next Friday. So let's talk the women's side for a little bit before we call it a night here. Again, we're going to save the heavy in-depth US and Canada previews for next week, as we know that those are the big ones. Those are the ones that everybody's going to be expecting to be battling it out for.
We could break that down. We can talk about that one for most of the show.
We can do U.S. and Canada Olympic hockey. You basically spend the entire hour on that next week. Just the two groups in women. You've got Group A consisting of Canada, the U.S., Finland, Czechia, and Switzerland. And then in Group B, we have Japan, Sweden, Germany, Italy, and France.
Ooh.
Over in Group B. Where would we like to start with the women's side of it? Obviously, keeping Canada and the U.S. out of it for now. If you
the women's side,
the host nation Italy getting involved. I would not expect a whole lot from the home nation. They've got a couple of players that might spark some interest, but overall, Italy is very much in the early stages of developing its women's program. I wouldn't necessarily expect a whole lot for Italy. Japan is another interesting one, because when you talk about hockey, Japan is not a nation that pops up a whole lot.
No, it's kind of like Japan for men's and women's soccer. I think they're kind of that same. They're a team that could upset you. They're fun to watch. Always, just outside of getting into the qualifying round. I mean, the playoff rounds or anything like that. But yeah, Japan, that's pretty good. The men's team didn't make it, obviously. So that 200 to 1 odds, they're stacked against them, but we'll see.
Just like in the men's side, the nations that if somebody's going to be giving the U.S. and Canada a run for their money,
the same.
Yep, yeah. You're going to be talking Sweden. We're going to be talking Finland. We're going to be talking about Germany. Germany's got a very high-end roster. Several players play in the PWHL. Nina Job-Smith, Laura Klug, Sandra Arbstreiter are all in the PWHL. Nice. So they've got some professionals there in that regard. It's going to be kind of depth testing there in Germany.
So you like the Germans in both the men's and the women's? It sounds like, Adam. Do you have some German blood in you?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit, and a little bit of Swedish. Why not? But Sweden's another one that absolutely they should be a team that should be in this fight.
If it's not the U.S. or Canada, then it's probably going to be either Czechia or Finland would be my two. I don't think Sweden is as strong this year as they have been in other years. Czechia and Finland. Czechia is at 25 to 1 odds, and Finland's at 30 to 1, where Sweden is down to 65 to 1. So big drop off. Those two pretty close. They're probably going to be the two teams that battle. Maybe throw Sweden in there. Two of those three teams will probably be battling for the bronze medal.
Yeah. Going with Finland, that's a solid go too. What could hurt Finland or maybe help? Both Finland and Czechia are in the same group as Canada and the United States. That could hurt them. That also could help them too. When you're looking at it. That will certainly iron will sharpen iron in that Group A. Group B, that's definitely going to be the easier path out of group play for sure. But some good stuff overall.
Yeah. So next Thursday, and the big key game is going to be the U.S. and Canada. Obviously, I think they play a week from next Thursday, the 12th. That'll be the final game of the round robin portion of the tournament. So that's going to be a good one. 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes.
But they do kick off next Thursday. So that gives us a little bit of hockey. The NHL ends next week. So we have this, and then the men will kick off right after that.
Yeah, it should be outstanding stuff. Actually, I'm going to just correct you just a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
The women US versus Canada, that game is Tuesday the 10th. Is the women's US versus Canada game, Tuesday the 10th.
Okay, sorry. I must have been the wrong thing. Yeah, okay. That's the 10th. So perfect.
Yep. Tuesday the 10th is when that one will be, as I'm double checking the schedule here real quick. But yep, that's we know how that goes whenever those two nations meet up.
They can never get enough of each other. I know.
No, they cannot. And we will be talking tons of US and Canada Olympic hockey next week as we get you set for the Olympic Games. But that will be a story for next week. As for tonight, that is going to do it for our show here this evening. Thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Be sure to check them out on planetjerky.net to place your order, and also follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Thank you also to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com, use the promo code IESR at checkout, and you get 15% off of your order. Be sure to follow along with IE Sports Radio on your favorite social media platforms, on Twitter, on TikTok, YouTube. Also be sure to check out iesportsradio.com. The new and improved website is up. It has launched. All the recent episodes of the shows are up there, so you can follow along and get caught up on everything there. You can also follow along with this show on Twitter. We are at IESR Neutral Zone. He is at Freddie _sports. I am at Adam_Karnik. Be sure to follow us along there. Thank you to Larry B, the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio. Thank you for all the hard work you're putting in behind the scenes, sir. It does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. Thank you to everybody hanging out in the chat room with us tonight, Jeff and Mikey Two Guns. Thank you to both of you. Thank you to everyone who's watching the show across YouTube and Twitter. We appreciate your support. And yes, go ahead, Freddie.
Hey, and a big shout. I want to see Brian is going to be going down to the Stadium Series in Florida, giving us his Bruins report. So, Brian, give us your feedback on that game this weekend.
Absolutely. Brian Francione, Boston Insider, going to be headed to Tampa for the Stadium Series. That'll be fun. We will get caught up on that next week as well. Until then, he is Freddie, I am Adam. Together we do this crazy thing called the Neutral Zone. We'll see you right back here next week. Have a great one, everybody.
Good night, everyone.